member of our community. I'm interested in preserving our natural resources, as I believe the future of our county for our children and our grandchildren rests with protecting these resources. Dividing up this land is very short-sighted, and I believe based on greed with monetary gain as the primary objective. The 160 range classification was decided upon for good reasons, and I believe that it is not in the best interest of our county and community to grant this request. Thank you.
Okay, out of consideration for others, it's been a long day. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes out of respect for a whole bunch of people that wish to speak. That last speaker went 5 minutes. I just ask for respect to the others waiting in line to speak, and don't want to slap anybody. I'm just trying to be respectful to all involved. Next speakers, Elmer and Deborah Wellick, followed by Jim Apperson.
Good afternoon. My name is Deborah Wellick, and this is my husband, Elmer Wellick. We reside at 9800 East Road, directly across from Road I. Our original rezoning request was put in Group 3, which meant inconsistencies with surrounding land use designation, but would be analyzed as an alternative to the general plan update draft environmental impact report. We believe we have submitted an alternative for the general plan update. It was never our intention to apply for a residential subdivision, which would have led to up to 15 homes on our land. As pointed out in the board general plan workshop on January 14th, 2008. We simply wanted to be able to have our children be able to build their own homes in Redwood Valley on family land in the future if they chose. In question is the Ag 40 designation surrounding the total property. Directly to the north of us, we have checked with the Mendocino Planning Department and also with Javier Rao from Rao Associates. It appears the property directly to the north of our parcel is all 1 acre parcels used for residential purposes only. There is no agriculture going on north of our property currently in Redwood Valley.
Okay.
That's it.
I believe that was stated as a question to the staff. Can you address that question?
Well, yes. There are two different designations that are going on here. One is the general plan designation, which is Ag 40, and it is, as is depicted on this map, and a designation different than that would be an island, if you will, in the middle of the Ag 40. While that is all correct and true, it is also correct and true that there are a number of smaller parcels. Those parcels that were referred to are to the north of this area, and yes, there are parcels that are 1 acre. However, when the planners look at the general plan designation, they don't necessarily take into account what existing parcels are. They look for the greater good of the land, if you will. And so even though there are those 1 acre parcels, this designation is saying that there would be no more. And this is the designation that came out of the 1981 general plan. It is, in a planner's view, backwards to look at what has been subdivided and use that as the criteria for how you go forward. What we're looking at is ag lands, regardless of how they may be divided now. So I agree that, yes, there are 1 acre parcels to the north, but it's also true that the Ag 40 designation is in this entire area.
Thank you. Thank you. Next speaker, Jim Apperson, followed by Mike Anderson. Mr. Apperson will be speaking to GP 1-2006, I believe.
I'd like to thank the Board of Supervisors and the planners for reconsidering my application. I don't really have much to say. I guess the planners kind of recommended me into the good group, so to speak. So the only thing I would like to bring up, I don't know if you guys have the map that originally was with my application, but there's my parcel is right in the middle of this map. It's an area bordered by Road B and Valley View. There are 33 parcels in this particular area, and only 9 of them are 5 acres or larger. The majority are 1 and 2 acre parcels already, the average being 1.28 acres on all 33 parcels. So I don't think it's inconsistent to give me a zoning of R2 on it. And I know you guys are tired, so I'll get out of here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I have a question
Oh.
of staff on that.
Sure.
To Mr. Gorney, on this one, looking at your notes here on GPU 01-2006, it says that the RR2 designation would be an extension of the adjacent RR2 area across East Road, yet bordered on 3 sides by the RR5 designation. So could you please highlight, is the white area around the subject property all RR5?
Yes, it is. That's correct. And this current designation is RR5. The extension that we're talking about is to the RR2 area that is to the west. That entire corridor, yes, there is the RR2 designation. So even though a road intersects for planning purposes, just like for subdividing purposes, it's as if the road is not there. So this would be an appendage extension of that RR2.
Well, I guess I have a little bit of a concern of creating a new zoning as this island concept that we talked about back in our January hearing, which, to my mind, it actually does, it's sort of, we're going down that path again, because you've got the RR5 surrounding this, but yet we're trying to go to RR2. But the surrounding designations are RR5. So again, it's creating, we're going for more density, and it's creating that island effect that we had lengthy discussions about. Is that your recommendation? Or, to me, I don't see that you have a recommendation here. You just say, you sort of bring this forward that it would be more consistent, because across the road it's RR2, but yet then you go on to say it's surrounded on 3 sides by RR5.
Can I correct that? It's not. There's a 2.3 acre adjoining, there's a 2.0 acre adjoining, there's a 1.54 acre all adjoining, and a less than 1 acre parcel, all adjoining my parcel.
Your name for the record, please.
Pardon?
Your name for
Jim
the record.
Ackerson.
Yes, and through the chair, if I could clarify, once again, this is a situation of a general plan classification versus what's on the ground or what's there. And yes, there are those parcels that are of varying sizes in this area. What we see when we look at the 1981 plan, which is the underlining general plan districts here, is that at that time, the policy of the county was no more of those smaller parcels here. That's why the greater designation. Not to confuse us or not to go back to something that is off the point, but there was at least one situation that the board looked at in January that was an island situation that you said go ahead with. That was a Garcia application on Albion Ridge Road. So these axioms don't always hold. They are axioms that planners use. All I was trying to point out here is that there is a way to append this particular request to an RR2 district, and that is the district to the west of it. And all the rest that we've said is correct and true.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Mr. Anderson, followed by Amy Nguyen.
Actually, Amy and I are